Welcome back, my delinquents. Filian's in hot water again for scamming artists. I'm saying again as this isn't Filian's first brush with copyright problems or aggravating the art community in general, such as their use of AI art, using art for products without commercial rights, and some other squabbles in the past that I'm not familiar with. But today we will be focusing the situation that just happened today that also connects into the commercial rights or the lack of commercial rights Filian has over a lot of their art and models. And this was triggered with the release of the Good Smile company Nindoroid Filian. I'm not saying Nindoroid right, I think. And it sparked a mass backlash at Filian about this. And I'm going to tell you why. Let's get into it. So this all popped off with this post today. Yeah, we're on it that quick. It's been out for less than 24 hours. So for Anime Expo, Good Smile released that they'll be coming out with a Filian model, like mini model, whatever you want to call it. They don't only have this artwork so far. This sparked backlash because Filian's model isn't their own. It is made by a model maker and it's sold for VR chat streamers and other streamers or just for personal use on VR chat. But when they sold it, it does not have commercial rights. Filian's is just a slight color swap in the hair and the eyes. And I will make a comparison of these so you can determine yourself how similar they think you are. And I will go over some little tidbits myself as someone who uses a model like this. So this is the backlash in the bottom here. A lot of people point out that it is owned by Jingo. Jingo does not have a part. They are Japanese, but from what I can tell and what I remember, they do not have a part where you have commercial rights, but they are pretty lenient with streaming. Filian has done multiple launches, gamer cups using this art, using this model. So, from what I can tell, this hasn't gotten back to Jingo. Because we're going to go over, Jingo has replied to this post, and we'll go over that in a second. But this is not the first time, and Filian is not the only person that uses this model. Lots of streamers do. It is not just Filian, but it is a very used avatar. And that is why usually Jingo is very lenient in the past with streamers using it, but not for commercial gain, usually. Or at the very least, you should reach out to them to see how they would like to be used or compensated, especially seeing Filian makes thousands upon thousands of dollars off the use of their IP. As we can see here, a lot of people are linking the model. This is the original model. This is only one of the outfits it provides. As you can see, it's very similar. The only main difference is because the schoolgirl outfit that Filian uses is part of this model, Erundel too. The main difference is the hair color swap, the lines swap, and the eyes are colored swap. And that seems to be about it because it even has cat ears. There are more products Filian has used this model's likeness for, but I don't have them here. I think they're on a different post. So we'll continue on to the next part of this. So this is Jingo. Jingo is a very popular model artist. They release a lot of things they have to be paid for, as per here. This is the listing, but it goes for around 7,000 yen, which is around 70 USD-ish. Well, it used to be. It's probably worth less now because of the yen going down in price. And it just gives you the use to use the model. You're not supposed to share it, and you do not have commercial rights to this model. So, as we can see on this one, this is the one that Filian uses, the school uniform one, which is incredibly similar, maybe just a couple of palette swappers here and there. And they come with multiple different haircuts, the ponytail being one of them. So again, they do very minor changes to the model. And before anyone goes like, well, it's a model and blah, 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 blah. The thing is, they reserve the commercial rights. They do reserve the commercial rights. And honestly, even if you're like, oh, it's a parody of it or it's been edited, it's very minimum editing from what I would say. I'm going to go over some levels of editing, but even that, unless you contacted the artist to get permission, Filian should have done a redesign of some sort because they do not own the likeness of this model. Many people have been sued for similar things in the art community, and the artist has won. One in particular was an artist took a picture that was digital and then they painted it with oil painting. And the likeness was so similar that when sued, they got the IP to it because it was just a copy. And that is the thing. When you take artist likeness, even if you semi-recreate it, if it's too similar, you don't own it, just like most commercial things. And this is exactly the model, slight color difference, and used for commercial gain to a high level. So next part, we're going to go over to Jingo's reply to this. And I would like to say to this, so far, Filian has not replied. I can't go into that part, but I'm just going to go over the breakdown to this and the differences of what Filian did wrong in this, and sadly has been going wrong, because I'll try and find the images. If I don't find it through this, I'll pop them up. But they've done cups, tons of stuff without permission. So we'll go to Jingo's reply to this. It seems like because Jingo is Japanese, he's been left out a lot of the loop of what Filian is using the model for a lot, seeing this is their first reply. Hello, I'm Jingo. This morning we received many inquiries regarding the announcement made on the Good Smile company account about the production of a Nindroid figurine of the Vtuber with the Rendo. The model is called the Rendo. So the Vtuber using. I was currently traveling when I contacted you, so it took some time for me to find out the situation. Regarding the production of the Vtuber Nindroid figure based on Erundel, I was unable to receive any prior contact from Good Smile Company on the Vtuber regarding production-related matters. From my perspective, I was very confused by the fact that a company was planning to produce a figurine based on my character, and that I had never heard anything about this. We have currently contacted Good Smile Company, and the Vtuber in question are waiting for a response. It's not an individual issue, so it's going to take some time for everything to come together. Please be aware of this and be patient while we wait for the results. So this points out, there's a little translation here, that Filian did not contact the model maker. Not once. Through all this commercial, through all these products using the likeness, they've never contacted them. So from people reaching out to them, I had always assumed that at some point they contacted them, because Filian has been using this model for a very, 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 very long time. So, and it seems to be, a lot of people assuming Filian was doing the right thing, didn't think to contact Jingo, which is very common. You would assume Filian, a very well-known, been in the game a long time VTubing, would have the commercial rights to their model. It's very basic. Usually, even myself, I'm going through changing things so I have the commercial rights, or the art is not 100% based on the model I have now, because the base of this model that I've edited is actually one of Jingo's. And I will show you the comparison to show how much you can change a model to look different. But the base that I used originally is one of Jingo's, and I've changed and edited, did different outfits from different people. But even then, when I get artists to do my work, I ask for different things done, because I'm going through the phase of making an 100% original. So everything commercially, which I'm doing a merch launch myself in a couple months, is based on the new design, not on Jingo's design. And even though mine looks substantially different, as they look like my cousin now in this model, you change it substantially, because over time, once you become a professional, you need commercial rights. Because a lot of artists give a little bit of leeway to indies, but once you're no longer an indie, you are making substantial money off their work. I won't go into that anymore here, but we're going to scroll down here. Here we go, some of the more merch items. They've used the likeness art, the gamer subs cups, t-shirts, pants. I don't know, I think that's is that a pillowcase? But a lot of people did assume there was a Filian vinyl figure. So a lot of people assumed they would have had to got Jingo's permission at this time. And Filian has really opened themselves up to be sued here. Honestly, like, people may go like, oh, it's not us. No, this is quite serious, that Filian could get sued. Like, this is a very common kind of thing to get sued for in the art community. And most of the time, because this model is 6 years old and Jingo has had it for a very long time and it's under commercial rights, they would most likely lose too. And they have really risked it for the biscuit here by just not contacting Jingo and figuring this out. But Filian is kind of known for cheaply making everything. As pointed out in the previous one, when Good Smile released, they don't even have their own logo. Because they don't have a logo made, which is very basic in these kind of things. They don't have much branding done, and they use free assets all the time. Which is fine on stream, because commercial, you're not using it in merch thing. But when it comes to merchandise, when it comes to contracts with companies, these are breaches of contract, because Filian most likely would have had to say when they were breaching the contract that they owns the right to this IP, which they do not. So Filian could be in a world of hurt if they don't actually work this out with Jingo. And they could end up suing. And the thing is, most of the art community would be on Jingo's side, because Jingo is in the right here. That is his model. They have not made enough of a change to even qualify as a parody at this stage, to give themselves some wiggle room. The only thing Filian has posted about it is this ruh-oh, And from my note, even this model is someone else's model. I don't think that's a Filian original. That is from someone else. I don't even think they actually link to Jingo. But when you're let's be honest, Filian's probably $1 million like streamer now. They've made a lot of money online. And they weren't exactly poor to begin with. They should not be stealing art. They should not be stealing models. It's getting absolutely ridiculous at this point. Especially seeing they didn't even have the courtesy to contact Jingo. That's very sus and a bit rude at the very least. So now I'm going to go into it. I'm going to show you comparisons of these models. So I'll pop them up here. Let's see if we can do it here. I'll pop them up here so you can see them next to each other. Let's see this is the one Filian's is based off. It's very similar. You can almost see, other than the green hair. Especially when you may also recognize some of these outfits as outfits Filian's has used multiple times. Especially the haircuts. As you can see, this is the one, her main one, that she's used for all the design is based off. That's edited. Even this part here, up here. The main difference here, I'm gonna like superimpose another image here so you can see, is that the eyes and the hair has changed from what I can see. See, as you can see here, they are using the short sleeve version, which I think is available on this. I don't remember if the white shirt is available. They would have had to change it, but I'm pretty sure it is. That ponytail is also available on this. As you can see, the only thing that is changed is that band is changed to purple, and the hair is changed to a very, very, very white, and as an artist, I'm going to say very poorly changed to white too. I don't know if it's gotten better, but as you can see, they've lost all the textures onto the hair, but they've also changed the eyes slightly poorly too. No shade, and I think they've made themselves a little bit tanner, but I needed to point out here that the hair looks substantially worse because they changed the palette here, and it may not have been available with it. Everything else is exactly the same. They even have the tail, they even have the ears, they have everything the same. And this is why I would say that it's a color swap change. It's barely different. I wouldn't even call it a parody. Now I'm going to show you how most people go about changing before they change to 100% commercial. Myself, I'm in the midst of changing over to 100% IP that I own, and I've been changing over more. And I'm going to show you here the difference between these models. This one is owned by Jingo 2. White costume. It's Emrys, I think. This is the one my model is based off of. This is Emrys, one of Jingo's creations. And I used to look more like her at the beginning, not the hair. I always had this haircut. I edited this myself in Unity. I changed the hair. I changed the eye shape a bit and how big they are. Look how big my eyes are. But I kept the eye color because I really liked it. Same with the hair color because my favorite color is blue. But as you can see, my body has changed a lot. And as you can see, I use the tatas sometimes with my other models. But as you can see from my A1, I lost some assets in the change. But I had different outfits. She started off as a demon nurse, and I changed, got rid of assets, put on things. I'm now a bunny cop. Hey, buddy. Hey. But now she looks like my really naughty mother or cousin. But this is how you do a parody or use a base without infringing completely on copyright until I 100% change over to a custom model 1,000 years from now, because they are very expensive. All my merch rights or anything else I base on the design for the model I want to get, not off Jingo's a lot of the time. But it's based on this cop now. Which we look substantially different. But this is how you change from completely being the same model or just being a copy, and you start becoming something based on it. Because the base of the body, even though my tatas are gone and a lot of stuff are gone, is still the Emrys. The base of my hair was still their model of Emrys. And so I still give Jingo credit. But there is a right way to do this, in my opinion. You don't have to automatically start off with the rights to everything. Because, we all start poor, but Filian is no longer an indie. Filian, it should have changed or at least got permission for IP years and years and years ago, honestly, because they've been very successful for a very long time. But even someone at my stage who's barely partnered on Twitch and makes a little bit on YouTube, I am slowly using the small amount of money I have to get the commercial rights to things, even though it costs up 2 to 3 times more. Is because it's the right thing to do. The artists put in the work into this, they should at least get a cut, or at least have the respect to ask their permission. And this is something that has been a constant debate over a lot of streamers, specifically Filian, because Filian just has a habit of putting their head in the sand and not actually responding to a lot of this stuff. But this is gone over from the part where it is just, oh, AI art is in a gray area and stuff, where they're literally making money off an artist. They think paying them $70 is enough to use their work for all of time, which is not how it works. This could result in them getting sued and them losing, honestly. And I don't really have a strong opinion on Filian in any sense, but from someone who did art, someone media, someone who used to run their own art store, you have to do things the legal way. VTubers aren't their own sphere. If you sell merch, you write contracts, you are now in the legal sphere of things. If you were just indie making YouTube videos, sure, but if you're writing contracts and saying you own IPs that you don't, it's getting messy and you will get sued if you don't actually obey the law, obey copyright. These have real consequences. You can't hear my hand gestures of the more you know, but this is actually very serious, that this could seriously get them in a lot of trouble. And most VTubers are very aware of it. That's why when they go pro, they change their names if it has copyrighted materials. They change their image. They go through rebrands for this exact reason. There is a reason Ironmouse and the top VTubers pay so much for their works. One, for commercial rights, but because happy artist, happy life. Because realistically, if you don't have artists, you don't have a job. And at the very least, Filian should have showed some respect and messaged Jingo. But at this stage and how much they made, I don't see this ending well unless Filian makes apology, pays this out, or it will end up in court, most likely. But that's what I think at this stage. This is actually more serious than a lot of people will probably give it to here, and I think Filian should definitely deal with this. What do you guys think? What do you think of the Filian situation? What do you think of the copyright? Do you think Jingo's in the right here, guys? Do you think that they should get what they are entitled to from their IP getting used? And I will catch you next time, my delinquents. Thanks to you for sitting here with my rambles about art, commercial rights, and the lore. And I know a lot of this, mainly because I used to sell things, so you actually have to go through it all and make sure you're not breaking the lore. I know hard, even the 2 months away I have a bit of a merch launch, I am going through things and making sure I separate things into commercial, right, separate things to I paid for but I can only use on stream, my own art, and like branding and stuff. You have to make sure you have the rights to all of it, or at least are paying out to the artists, because sometimes artists do let you pay a percentage to them when you're poor. But that's between them and the artists, and it has to be done correctly. I'll see you next time, my delinquents. You got this, bestie. Bye-bye.